Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you asked over the course of the week, and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, a couple of things. First of all, Happy New Year. I hope you enjoyed the Christmas content on Magic TV. At some point in the next few weeks, we're going to be doing the award show, the yearly award show that we do on Magic TV, me and Ryland. But we've got a lot of amazing content coming up this year. Remember that I don't ever plan what I'm saying on these Q&As. I read the question, you're getting my raw, unfiltered opinion. If I see a question and I think it could be a longer answer, I'll probably do it as a separate video. And also, don't forget, if you want to get these questions definitely answered, put your questions in by sort of Tuesday at the latest. I tend to film these things on a Tuesday. If you put it on Tuesday, there's a good chance that I will get to your question. If I miss it, I'm very sorry. Ask it again, and I will get back to it the following week. Having said all that, there's some great questions this week, some amazing questions. So we're going to get straight into it. Happy New Year, and we're back. This is the Magic TV Q&A. So the first question is from ALOY, Eloy or Elky, I think, ALCY. Hi, Craig. Hi there. Do you have any insights on if magic companies accept products that are still in development? I'm currently working on a trick that I know is solid, but is very much in development, and I'm thinking of pitching it to a magic company, both for the security of it as well as access to the talent they have. But I'm not sure whether they dismiss it because it's not finalized. Any help with this would be appreciated. Thank you. It's a great question, and really, it depends on kind of you. And what I mean by that is, and I've talked about this before on the channel, but I'll mention it again now. A magic production company, a production company that produces magic on behalf of artists, they are a business. Their business is to make money. That's what they do. They're just like any business. Their goal is to be profitable. It's not a charitable thing that they do. They have overheads, they have costs, they probably have wages, and they want to make money. That's what the goal of any business is. So when they, so taking that into consideration, when they take an artist on, a lot of the time, if it's an unknown artist, if they've never released anything before, that's kind of an unknown commodity. So if you're going to a production company and you've not got a track record, so you've never released anything before, they don't know who you are in the community, you haven't really got a following, people don't know who you are, then they're kind of going to go, well, okay, this is still in development, this is not a finished product, come back to us when it's finished. Now, if you are a Greg Wilson, if you are a Jay Sankey, if you are a Michael Amar, if you are a Pete Turner, if you are somebody, the millions of names, Justin Miller, Sean Farquhar, the list goes on and on. If you're somebody who has got a name within the community as a creator and a following, and lots of people will buy your products when they come out because people believe in the type of magic that you do, and you've got a reputation of bringing out good magic, well, then they might take a punt on you. Then if you went to them and you say, look, this is still in development, would you like to take it on and help me with the development of this product? That's very much a case of yes, or potentially. Again, it depends on the trick and it depends on a bunch of factors. So my thing, for example, when I went to Penguin, one of the first things that Penguin I'd worked on was the new version of Keymaster. Now, they knew what Keymaster was. It had come out before, and I explained to them exactly how the new features and the new routines would work. Great. There's nothing to question there. They know exactly what they need to do to produce it. They can produce that. Off the success of working with Penguin, I have several other key-related things in the works, the first one of which dropped last year, which was Gatekeeper. And I didn't have a gatekeeper unit. I didn't go to them and say, look, I've made a gatekeeper. This is what I want to bring to the table. I just explained what gatekeeper was, and they greenlit it based on me explaining it, and they made the prop for me. But that's because we had a working relationship. They knew who I was, and I had a track record. So realistically, the question you've got to ask yourself is, why would a production company want to work with you? If it's in development, they might turn around to you and say, well, you know, finish it first. We want to see a working prototype. And that's within their right to do that. You know, that you've got to understand that production companies get pitched all of the time. You know, I've spoken to people like Alakazam and Penguin and Murphy's. They have hundreds of people pitching ideas to them every single day. They can afford to be picky and choosy. All of these companies turn away more people than they say yes to. I know that a little while ago, Murphy's were like giving the rights to contracts back because they had too much that they wanted to produce. So with all of this in mind, you have to kind of consider, excuse me, you have to kind of consider, you know, what's the best way to make an impression on a production company. Now, if this thing's in development and you need a production company to help you finish it, maybe you release something else first, something that you can show a finished version to, something that's not very difficult for you to produce and make a prototype to show them. And off the back of releasing that and that being successful, then you go back to that same company and say, well, you know, worked with this, now I'd like to speak to you about this. That's the way that I would do it, because you've only got one chance to make a first impression. And if you turn around to a company and say, I want to produce this, it's not finished, what do you think? You can't show them a video, you can't show them a working prototype, you can just show them an idea. That kind of says to me that it's not completely finished, because if you haven't even got a prototype, how could you have tested it in the real world? How do you know it's worked? Have you ironed out all the kinks? Well, you can't have ironed out all the kinks because you don't even have a working prototype yet. You know, there's a lot of every single routine that I've ever created, it's become a hell of a lot better once I've worked with it for a few months, because it's only through that process of working with it or having other people work with it that I realize the flaws that I can fix before it eventually gets released to market. So, yeah, that's kind of a long answer to the question, but I think it deserved a long answer. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so the next question is from Ray Eden, World of Magic, who says, you may have answered this already. Is it possible for magicians in the States to audition for the Magic Circle membership, or is it restricted to UK Magi? Now, anybody can audition for the Magic Circle. Absolutely anybody. They've got members all over the world. In fact, all of the lectures are streamed, and people from all over the world can watch them live and actually ask questions and interact with the lecturer. And all of the lectures and all of the events and everything are actually recorded and stored up in the archives. And as a member, you get access to that. So there's a lot of benefits of being a Magic Circle member outside of just being in the Magic Circle. And yeah, I would absolutely audition. You need to just fill in a form on the website. I think you need two people to... you need somebody to put you forward and somebody to second you. So if you know anybody that's in the Magic Circle, that would probably be beneficial. And then you can do an audition online over Zoom. That's absolutely something that you can do. They will know more about that process than me. But yes, there's members from all over the world. So 100% you can become a member of the Magic Circle regardless of where in the world you live. Okay, so the next question is Kent Thompson, 8231. Hi, Craig. Happy 2024. Same to you, buddy. Please upload a tutorial about the one-handed Farro shuffle to the Netrix. It's damn hard, but I think it's attainable if you can provide some hints and tips and advice. Absolutely. The next upload is next week. I don't know if I can get it done by next week, but if not, we'll do it for the one afterwards, and I'll upload it straight into the shuffling section on the Sleights section. So go to Sleight School, go to shuffling, and I'll put it in there. But yeah, 100%. I've done the one-handed Farro shuffle for years, so absolutely I can put that up now, no problem. Okay, so I'm just going to answer this because it's come up on the Q&A. It's from My House is Dirty New, who says, hi Craig, why are you hiding Sarah? Many of us have seen her on Britain's Got Talent. Is it her weight? What's the deal, Craig? You should be proud of her. And I checked your profile. It got created 3 days ago just so you can make this comment. And to you and anybody else who wants to troll me on this channel, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you to hell and back. Fuck you. Okay, so the next question is Andy Putt, who says, got a couple of questions here. First question, you spoke about the Copeland coin boxes that are nice to perform with. Which coin boxes do you recommend for someone who doesn't even have one coin box? Are the ones from Tango good enough, or do you recommend others? Mirage has just arrived 3 days ago. Didn't see the tutorial yet. I'm so excited. Started to practice coin magic, a version of your reverse matrix with copper silver set from N2G because of you. Awesome, man. And I really hope you have fun with Mirage. In terms of the coin boxes, a nice cheaper coin box that's not actually that expensive is the set of coin boxes from TCC. They're very good. They're actually much better than Tango. Tango are great. They were one of my first coin boxes. So if you like coin boxes and you want to you want to try something, Tango are absolutely fine. It's a nice budget coin box, but when you eventually actually start using coin boxes, I'd upgrade a little bit. TCC is fantastic. As I said, Copeland's fantastic, but when you're just starting off, get yourself a Tango. You're going to be able to learn everything that you need to learn from a Tango. You'll be able to practice all the moves, and then you can upgrade as and when you want to. Okay, so the next question, again from Andy Putt, is what are your goals, resolutions for next year? For me, it's 3 things. 1, to try and have a trick accepted and hopefully released by a magic company. 2, to complete my competition act. And 3, practicing and performing more coin magic. Mirage has arrived 3 days ago, and next year Apparition and Nightshade will also be bought by me. But first I need to save some money for them. Otherwise my girlfriend will kill me and you'll have one less viewer. Awesome, man. Those are some great goals. To have a trick released, complete your competition act, and practice and perform more coin magic. Absolutely awesome. I'm going to do a video on my goals at some point, but briefly, I want to make this the best year yet in terms of releasing magic. I rated my tricks in 2023, and I thought they were very good, but I think that what I've got coming in 2024 is even better. And more of an eclectic mix. It's not just coins, cards, and mentalism. There's a lot of really kind of off-the-wall stuff. So I want to carry on doing that. I want to have a book published in 2024. I've always wanted my own book. That's kind of really important to me. Ryland's in the Family Entertainer of the Year at Blackpool, and I've helped him put an act together that he's really happy with. That's very different to anything he's done before. And at least in the short term until Blackpool, my goal is to help him make this act the best it can be. He competed in Kidology in September, but it was literally a week after he came back from America's Got Talent. So he didn't have time to put an act together. He just literally went up and did the stuff that he does in his kid show, which was great. But when he found out he was in the Family Entertainer, we said, okay, we're going to put together something really special for this. And we've been working on it solidly since then. So that's a big goal of mine, just in general, to help Ryland achieve his goals. I also am really on a health kick at the moment. I've been trying to lose weight since COVID. I put a ton of weight on over COVID, and it's been hard to shift for a variety of different reasons. But I've got a health coach that's working with me, and a fitness coach, and I'm really kind of focusing on that at the moment. So I'm trying to go to the gym most days, and obviously that's not magic related. And I want to learn more mentalism. I want to kind of delve more into the mentalism side of things. I dabble with mentalism, and obviously I've released some mentalism, but I want to learn more. I want to kind of go really deep into the mentalism side of things, not necessarily to perform it, but just to become a more well-rounded performer. So there's other goals, and I'll talk about that down the line. But yeah, those are some of my main goals. You also said here, I wish you and your family a very happy holidays. 2023 wasn't my favourite year, but you've been a big positive piece of my 2023, and I want to thank you for it. 2024 will be even better. I also saw your holiday video extravaganza on my birthday. Keep up the good work, blah, 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 blah. Thank you very much, man. Really appreciate it. So yeah, those are my goals, and your goals, I believe you can hit them. Okay, so the next question is from Luchas498, who said, I've got a question. Does anybody use mirrors to practice their close-up magic? Are there any good tutorials for this? I've got a 3-way mirror. They're the best ones to use because you can see every single angle. But to be honest, I don't use it that much these days. I just set up a camera and I video myself doing it. And I find watching a video back is the best way to rehearse. There's not really a tutorial for it. I just set up a video camera. I don't really practice so much, but what I do is I do the whole routine with patter to an invisible imaginary spectator, and I go back and I look at the footage, because I want to try, when I rehearse, one of the things I'm rehearsing is my blocking. I'm rehearsing my actions, making sure they're justified. What am I saying when I have to do a move? Where am I focusing the misdirection? Where am I focusing the attention of the audience? all of that sort of stuff. That's the most important thing to me, not necessarily the sleight, but more about the overall presentation. So when I'm kind of rehearsing, that's what I'll do. I'll video it. Okay, so the next question is Matt Bradley3245, who says, Craig, earlier this year you spoke about a project you were working on with the working title of Quantum Deck 2. You said it would be out at the end of the year, but you thought it would be the thing associated with you. Unless I've missed it, I haven't seen an update on that. Can you let us know how it's going? Yeah, I jumped the gun a little bit when I said it would be out before the end of the year. That's obviously not the case, but I can see it definitely being out by the summer at the latest. Can't really say much about it. It's a double-edged sword in Magic, isn't it? Like, if I talk extensively about projects I've got coming out this year, I'm accused of hyping up unnecessarily. But if I don't answer people's questions about projects that are coming up, I'm accused of being rude. So you just can't win. I can't really say too much about it. It's nothing like the Quantum Deck, even though it has got the working title of Quantum Deck 2. It's absolutely nothing like it. And it won't have that title when it comes out. Where we're at with it is I've been working with the prototype now for about 6 months. The guys at Murphy's have been working with the prototype now for about 6 months. The prototype works brilliantly. The reactions I'm getting are awesome. And I believe we've ordered a small batch to test, because when I bring anything out, quality control is so important. So we've ordered a small batch from the manufacturers, and we're going to be testing those over the next month. And then assuming that's good, then I imagine that the whole order will be greenlit to be ordered. I think I'm scheduled to do the tutorial around about Blackpool, I think. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm filming for various different Magic companies. A couple of days ago I was filming with Ryland for a project he's got coming out with Alakazam at Blackpool. Then yesterday I was at the Magic Circle filming for a project that's coming out this month with Murphy's. I've got another thing I'm filming with Murphy's, but I'm hosting it. I'm not actually the person who's bringing the project out, but middle of the month, I'm filming that for 3 days. I've got live performances to get for about 6 different projects with Alakazam. Not all of them mine, but I'm getting all the live performances. That's next week and the week after. So there's a lot of filming coming up. I'm going over to Penguin again. I'm filming a ton more stuff for Penguin. So there's a lot. There's a lot coming up. But yeah, in terms of that project that you talked about, I'd say summer at the very, very latest. Okay, so the next question is from David Blaine, who says, I have no time to practice Magic anymore. I have a full-time job, not Magic. I have a family and I have life, etc. How do you find time to practice? I mean, you can't ignore the wife and kids and go and practice Magic after being gone working for 15 hours. Ugh. Yeah, I understand your pain. Totally get it. And if it's important to you're not going to like this answer, but the answer is, if it's important to you, you find the time. If it's important to you, you find the time to practice. If it's not important to you, you don't find the time. Everybody's busy. Trust me, I know what it's like to be busy. If you saw my schedule, you wouldn't believe it. I'm in the office now. I got back in last night at midnight. I'm in the office now, got in at 9 o'clock. I'm here till 1 filming some stuff that I'm heading over to Essex. I'm going to be doing a gig in Essex. I'm not going to get back till about 3 in the morning. And then Saturday, I've got 2 gigs. Like, I'm all over the place. And you could argue and say, yeah, but that's Magic. But that's it's not me practicing Magic. It's me going out and delivering the show or delivering the performance. I could very easily sit there and not practice. But I do, because I love it. And I think that's the thing. If you love something, you'll do it. Do you sit down and watch a film? Think about the things that you do on your own. You're not always going to be with your family. You have to find time for yourself, else it's not healthy. So what's the other stuff that you do when you're on your own? Do you read a book? Do you watch the TV? Do you play on a computer game? Do you go running? Do you go swimming? Do you go down the pub with your mates? What do you do? There's going to be something that you do that doesn't involve your family or work. And my advice is, you look at those things and you think, are they more important than Magic? And if they are, that's great. Just means that Magic's not a priority. But if they're not, then take something, do some less of something, and insert Magic into there. It's a lot of the time. And you shouldn't force yourself to practice, but or rehearse, or you shouldn't never force yourself. But a lot of the time, if you're not, what am I trying to say? A lot of the time, if you're constantly finding reasons why you haven't got time to practice, maybe just magic's not for you, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. People come into this industry, people go out this industry, people fall in love with it, and then fall hard, and then walk away, and there's no problem with that either. But find time. Find time. If you love it, you can find time. Okay, so the next question is from Bins Brian, who first of all says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Canada. Thank you very much. And then says, I watched your 5x5 on the Mirage coin set, so I ordered it before Christmas. I ordered them for Christmas. I then watched you perform Apparition with dollar-sized coins, so I ordered them as well. I probably won't get them until after Christmas. I couldn't decide what size coin set was for me, so I figured this would be the best why to try out both. Did I make a mistake? In your Christmas Q&A, you indicated that you would tend to do crossover routines between the sets. Should I have ordered them all in the same size? Confused. It's totally up to you. Look, I'm going to do crossovers, but I'm going to include crossover routines where, you need $50 of this set and $1 of this set. I'm going to do crossover routines where you need $1 of this set and $1 of this set. Remember, Apparition, Nightshade, and Mirage are all separate projects. If they came out by 3 separate people through 3 separate companies, nobody would be questioning if they, should fit together or anything. The reason that's the case is they're all part of the Elite coin range by Alakazam, and they all got bought out by me. But they are all individual separate releases. It's not like we ever market the Nightshade as, hey, you need Mirage to be able to perform this. It's not like the tutorial ever even references Mirage or Apparition. So, the Nightshade tutorial's what, 8 hours long? You've got more than enough routines with Nightshade. Same with Apparition, same with Mirage. But in terms of the crossover thing, I just wanted to give back to the people that have bought the coin sets through the Elite coin range. So this free academy is basically going to be just a ton of routines that you can do, combining the different sizes and the different sets in the Elite coin range. You don't have to do them, but I just want to kind of showcase some of the things that I'm doing with them. And as I say, there's some routines where you need a $50 Apparition and $1 Mirage. Then there's some that you need the other way around. There's some that you need both at the same size. But you just pick the ones that you can do with the sets that you've got. And if there's something you really want to do and you haven't got the sets, maybe you want to consider buying a set. But you don't have to. You don't have to at all, because that's not the point of the video. So you've not done the wrong thing at all. When you're first getting into coin magic, part of the thing is to try to decide what size your hands are and, what type of coin that you want to use. So experiment. It's not a bad thing at all. Okay, so the next question is Mavis Riley Jr., who says, Dynamo Special was just stooges and edits. Incredibly strong magic. It could barely do any of it in the real world. Dude, with all the respect in the world to you, you're talking crap. You're absolutely talking crap. First of all, have some respect for Dynamo. This is a guy that's gone out, busted his balls, inserted himself into various different celebrity parties, made himself a national name, became the biggest magician in the UK, one of the biggest magicians in the world. Then, if you watch the Dynamo Special, he got himself into a situation where he was very, very low. He had a deliberating illness. He went through a lot of crap, which would have caused many people to give up. And through off his own back, he assembled a team of people and he put together a show which has instantly catapulted him to become a name in magic again. And again, one of the top magicians in the country. Don't ever disrespect that guy, because I don't care what you think about his magic. I don't care what you think about what he's done and what he hasn't done and whether he uses stooges or edits. The bottom line is the guy has gone out and achieved more in his life than you will ever achieve with 5 lifetimes on this planet. And that's not me having a go at you. That's me telling you like it is. And I am sick of seeing magicians turning around and going, oh, Dynamo just does stooges, he just does edits. The thing you don't understand is whenever Dynamo goes out and does a show on TV, that's good for magic. Everybody is buzzing about Dynamo. I did so many gigs over Christmas and people were saying, have you seen the Dynamo Special? Oh, it was amazing. How did he do that? How did he do that? You know, and I turned around and I said, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was fantastic. Now, if you watched my last Q&A, you'll know that I wasn't particularly keen on the buried alive thing. I'm not going to say that. You're not going to see me post that on my Facebook wall. You're not going to see me say that to anybody, especially a layperson. All I'm going to say is it was absolutely amazing. He is one of the best in the world. Because if I say anything else, I come across as bitter and twisted. And also, by telling people how amazing it is, it's good for magic. If Dynamo has another 5 TV specials, people are going to watch it. They're going to want a magician for their event. They're not going to be able to hire Dynamo. Most people aren't going to be able to afford Dynamo. So then they're going to come knocking at me. And the other thing that you need to understand is you say here, he could barely do any of it. It was just stooges and edits. Here's what you understand. You don't know. You weren't part of his creative team. His creative team consisted of some of the brightest names in magic. And by making that one little statement, you are completely and totally shitting on absolutely everything that they did and everything, absolutely everything that they stand for. How many times have you appeared on television? How many times have you appeared on TV? Do you understand the process that's needed in order to create your own TV show? Because I don't. I've had some experience of being around TV with Ryland and AGT and BGT. I've been involved in production meetings. I've been on TV a few times myself, and I know how difficult it is. And here's what you do. You use the best possible resources at your disposal. Now, I'm not saying he's doing edits or stooges, but if he is, that's fine. Let me tell you why that's fine. Because as a magician, you use the environment that you have in front of you. So if you're a walk-around performer, you can't do lapping. You just can't because you don't have a table. But if you're performing at a gig and you're seated behind a table, or you're standing behind a table and there's a savant there, why would you not lap something? Because it's going to make it cleaner. If you're in an environment where you can lap, you're going to lap. Ryland's Cups and Balls in his show. He puts them on a table with a savant behind them, and he uses the savant. Of course he uses the savant, because that's part of the environment. If you're performing on stage, and you've got a darkened stage and you're in control of the lighting, you're going to be able to do more with invisible thread. Way more. Dancing Cane, one of Ryland's favourite tricks. He's not going to do that in a close-up gig outside in the summer. People are going to see how it's done. But he's going to do it on stage when he's in control of the lighting because it looks amazing in that environment. You use the environment to your advantage. And in the case of Dynamo, he's performing on television. He takes advantage of the environment in which he's performing on. So it is shot in a very cinematic way. Are there edits? I don't know. I wasn't part of the production company. I wasn't part of the creative team that put that show together. I know that there's some incredible magic in there and it's really well thought out. But I don't know. Do you know? Were you on that creative team? I don't think you were. So how are you making that leap? Let's be honest. Let's call a spade here. Let's call a spade a spade. You're saying Dynamo Special was just stooges and edits, incredibly spun magic, and barely do any of it in the real world. You've never seen Dynamo perform in the real world. This is a guy that's gone out and performed in the real world, probably before you were into magic. This is a guy who stood on stage and performed on stage before you were even into magic. He's performed and sold out arenas all over the UK. To turn around and said he could barely do any of it in the real world. I remember people saying that about the phone in bottle. Magicians bitching and moaning about the phone in bottle and saying he couldn't do it in the real world. What did he do in his stage show? He did the phone in bottle and it looked absolutely amazing. Stop making assumptions. Stop making assumptions. You can't. Here's the thing. You're bitter, you're twisted, because he's got a national platform and everybody's talking about him and he's done magic that you can't do. So rather than using it to level yourself up, rather than saying, you know what, he's here and I'm here, I'm going to try and take myself to that level, figure out what he did and do the same thing because I'd like my own TV show. Rather than doing that, rather than doing that, you bitch and you moan about how he's a terrible performer and he can't perform in the real world. You know what? Why don't you just admit to yourself that you're jealous? You're jealous of Dynamo. And if you're not, then show me the performance of you performing on TV. Show me your TV performance. Show me you going out in the real world and doing your thing. Show me you going and getting your own national TV show, because you can't. Stop being so jealous. Stop being so bitter. Stop being so twisted. And instead, why don't you just pay respect to the man that's done more in one fucking week than you will in your entire life? Okay, so the next question is Dan CMK1118461, who says, Merry Christmas, Craig. My question is this. Do you ever feel guilty fooling spectators with simple moves or sleights? The JOC false cut, for example. No. My attitude is simple. Which is I want to perform, I want to do the best possible performance for the audience I'm performing for. Whether it's friends, family, a paid gig, a paid client, I want to do the best possible performance that I can do. And I want to make it as simple as possible for me. Now, simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. Simple means simple. If I'm going to do a false cut, a lot of the time, the JOC false cut is a perfect false cut to do. Other times, the best false cut might be to have them cut the deck and I do a pass to take out the cut that they've just done. It depends on the scenario. The pass is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple because it doesn't look like anything's happened. My attitude is I don't have a problem with simple principles, simple techniques, because it allows me to focus on presentation. I also don't have a problem doing sleight of hand, an intricate sleight of hand, if the environment calls for it. And I definitely don't feel guilty because I don't want to fool my spectators. What I do want to do is entertain them. For my goal is to entertain people. Now, if I can fool them as well, that's great. But ultimately, my job, at least in my head, is to entertain them. So I'm not going to feel guilty about fooling them with simple methods because the method isn't important to me. What's important is the way they feel after the performance. Okay, so the next question is from JW Magic, who says, oh, hey, how you doing, buddy? Hi, Craig. Hope you had a good Christmas. Yes, thank you. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on Derren Brown's Unbelievable in the West End. Well, I don't know because I haven't seen it. I can't make a comment on something I haven't seen. All I can tell you is I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard some people that I massively respect say it's the best thing ever. I've heard other people turn around and say there's a lot of glaring problems. I don't know. I love Simon Lipkin. I love Derren Brown, Andy Nyman, all of the people behind it. I think it's an ingenious idea getting dancers to be in the project, in the production, as well as magicians. But I can't. I was going to see it, but unfortunately, the run got. It ended earlier than people anticipated, so I didn't get a chance to see it, which is a shame because I really, really wanted to. But yeah, I mean, I've heard good things, and I really hope it goes on tour. I really hope that this isn't the end for Unbelievable because I think it was a very ambitious project. And you know, from what I have been told, I've been told that the hospitality routine is the best hospitality routine ever, and I love that routine. I love hospitality, so you know, I was really looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, it's good as far as I'm aware, but I can't really make a comment because I didn't get a chance to see it myself. Okay, so the next question is from Warren Treadaway, who says, hi Warren, hope you well, by the way, Merry Christmas. Hi Craig, first of all, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, your family, your team, and the amazing content and releases you've shared with us over this year. You're more than welcome, buddy. My question is regarding a card routine you do where you ask a spectator to throw the cards in the air while you attempt to catch the card blindfolded, however the cards fall all over. I've seen this routine performed by yourself and Nemid amongst others, and I'd love to know who came up with the routine. Was it yourself or was it in print somewhere? And if so, where? Thanks. So it's my own routine. I came up with it as a closer for my parlour and my cabaret show. And I've done it probably for a decade now. I've taught it to a select few people. I've taught it, as far as I'm aware, to 3 people: Nemid Phoenix, Alex Foden, Cy Pedal, and Matt. I've taught it to Matt. It's basically just my routining for the destination box, but it's been built up over the years with gags and lines and the pacing and the structure. I can't close on anything else when I put that in my show. I absolutely love it. I am going to be I'm putting a big emphasis in 2024 on stage content for the Netrix. There's so much close-up content. I'm going to be putting stage content on there as well, and I'm going to be putting up a full explanation and live performance videos of that routine onto the Netrix probably in the next couple of weeks. So look out for that. That's coming. It's going to be very exciting. But yeah, I'm really glad you like it. Thanks very much. Yeah, there's no reference for it because it's just my routining for the destination box. And it's, yeah, routine I came up with about 10 years ago. Okay, so the next question is from different Magician, who says, how do you deal with people thinking that magic is just for kids? I went to pitch to a restaurant manager and he said, well, we don't get too many kids coming in here. You just need to make them understand that it's not just kids magic that you do. So, you know, you went to pitch a restaurant manager. The key thing is to make them understand in the pitch that you are an entertainer that will perform for absolutely everybody. You need to figure out, what am I trying to say here? You need to figure out who your audience is. And you need to send them assets and show reels, photos and videos that showcase you doing that type of work. So, for example, if you're a trade show magician, you want to have videos and photos of you performing on trade show booths. If you go and speak to a trade show and you don't have that, well, then they're not going to think that you're a trade show magician if you've got no assets or social proof showing that you perform in trade shows. So when you look at a restaurant, you look at what that restaurant's demographic is. You find out, maybe you go in there or you do some research online, you find out who their target customers are. In this case, he says you don't get too many kids coming in there. So when you first approach the restaurant, because I don't think you just walked in blind, right? You went to pitch them. So you made first contact at some point, and you pepper that in your sales pitch. When you're trying to arrange a meeting, you pepper that with the fact that you don't perform for kids, or you know, you're not a kids entertainer. You adapt what you say to the person in front of you. So in this case, it'd be like, hey, is that XYZ restaurant? It is. Hi, my name's Divshan. I'm a magician based in your area, and I was hoping I could come in and see you. I've been recommended your restaurant by a few different people. I actually work with restaurants in and around the London area to increase the amount of footfall into the restaurant, increase brand loyalty. There's a whole bunch of different things, and because I'm not a kids entertainer, because I perform mainly for sort of adults, this is I was recommended your restaurant because I believe you don't get too many kids in there. Is that right? Yeah, brilliant. You know, all I want to do is give you a chance to see what I do and pop in and have a chat with you about how my magic can help you. Is there a good time I can come in? And now you've already laid the groundwork. You follow up with an information packet with a video, an email with a video and some photos showing you performing for adults and not kids, and not doing kids style magic. I know I've seen you do lots of stuff with sponge balls, for example. None of that, nothing that could even be closely related to kid shows. And you show that and you give them that to look at before you go in, so they see you performing to their target audience. And ideally the video you send should be you in a restaurant. Because if you're pitching your services to be in a restaurant, they want to see video of you in a restaurant, ideally not a restaurant with kids in it. And then you go in and you finish the pitch. And yeah, but, you know, and also it's a numbers game. You know, you're going to get people, that is a thing that people say. Oh, you know, kids, that is something you say. But you have to understand that in sales, and that's what you're doing here, pitching a restaurant is a sales process. And in sales, every no brings you closer to a yes. You've got to have a great attitude. You've got to maintain that attitude. The problem a lot of magicians have when they pitch restaurants is they'll pitch 5 or 6 restaurants, 10 restaurants. They'll get a no every single time. And they'll just give up and they'll go, oh, why am I even bothering with this? This isn't working. Nobody wants magic, right? Nobody wants me to perform magic. Everyone says no. But the salesman's approach to this is when you get a no, you go, brilliant. Because that means I'm one step closer to a yes. Because that's what the law of averages is. There's a law of averages. Now, my law of averages when I'm doing sales, when it comes to cold calling a restaurant, which is effectively what you're doing here, is 1 in 2, which means that kind of, or 5 in 10 it kind of is, which means that for every 10 restaurants I pitch, 5 are probably going to say yes and have me come in. And out of those 5 that have me come in, probably 3 will agree for me doing a paid trial night. And out of those 3, I'll probably get 1 or 2 that want to actually end up keeping it as a residency. And the numbers drop off. And you have to understand, every no brings you closer to a yes. So don't be disheartened when people say, oh, we don't have any kids in there. That just means that that restaurant isn't necessarily a good fit to you. Move on to another one. Okay, so the next question is again from Andy Put Magic, who says, I had 5 days to get Christmas cards in my app for Christmas Eve for the family-in-law. Not a paid gig because I'm an amateur hobbyist. And I saw 4 hours and 17 minutes of tutorial. Sorry about that. But I made it. I had 9 routines prepared off the project and I did 6. People loved it, especially Christmas lunch, perfect Christmas day, and alphabet prediction. Made a little mistake with another routine, but saved my butt out of it. I love Christmas, and to perform with this project, it was amazing. I also performed Elf, what they did love, and loved the Christmas themed tricks. Amazing. Not really a question, but I really appreciate it. Christmas cards is great. I was performing with it all over Christmas. I just wish I could do it all year round because it's a fun routine to perform. And I actually think it's a little bit better than Monsters as well. I don't know why, but I think the Christmas cards, the Christmas movies thing just makes a lot of sense. Monsters makes a lot of sense, but I think that the Christmas cards thing makes total sense. So I'm really glad you liked it. Thanks very much. Okay, so the next question again is from Andy Put Magic, who said, I sent you an email a few weeks ago in collaboration for a card project. I didn't want to stalk you with emails. Do you have time in January to look at it and tell me what you think about it? Yes, absolutely. Honestly, December was just November and December were probably the 2 busiest months I've had since pre-COVID, and I was all over the place and just very, very tired. And a lot of the kind of non-priority emails have been pushed back, but over January, I'm going to be working through and getting back to a lot of people. So look out for that. But yeah, feel free to send me an email again to jog my memory. But over the next week or 2, I'll probably be getting back to you. Okay, so the next question is from RDGTEX. Who says, Cube 52 is my #1 trick of the year. Thank you so much. Question. What is your opinion on magic purchases, especially top-selling magic, that works as advertised but have obvious flaws that are often subject to complaints, maybe even becoming controversial? It's rare that these obstacles get as big a rise out of me as they do others. Often the secret in my mind has greater value to me than what comes in the package. The reason is, over the last decade, I've slowly been building a gaffing studio. Where a trick comes out and does not suit me, I gaff my own and modify the trick to meet my personal specifications until I have a version that works the way it needs to. It has to be a hot mess for me to complain, or made so cheaply that it defies all logic that anyone should be charging a dime for it. But even then, I'll gaff my own version of it. Excuse me. To me, it harkens back to the legacy and pioneers of magic to be able to work on my own than to rely entirely on what comes in the package and send it back for a refund, either after I've learnt the secret but I'm not entirely satisfied with the commercial project. Where you differ, of course, is you seem to never release anything until you're 99.999999999 recurring % sure you've worked out all the angles and bugs. Of course, however, not everyone is like you, and not all magic tricks, even those that have taken years to perfect, are as bulletproof. It seems to me that it's catch-22. In terms of really good magic. On one side, it should be bulletproof. On the other hand, what is bulletproof for one magician may not be for another. I started putting my gaffing studio together around 2017, and I rarely find myself in a situation where I cannot make improvements or enhance the effect to suit my needs. I know magicians complain about magic tricks that require arts and crafts, but in my case, that rests squarely on having the right tools as a magician. With that said, how important is it from your perspective for magicians to maintain, at the very least, a minimalist set of tools to repair if needed, modify or gaff their own tricks? Wow, that's a great question. It's a very long question. Very long question. So, right. On one hand, if somebody releases something, it needs to be fit to purpose. And if it's not fit to purpose, you have every right to request a refund. You know, Crystallized came out a couple of years ago, and you know, I've talked about this extensively, and you know, because of various different factors, some of the units weren't great, and that's why I was saying to people, get a refund, return them, get a refund. I think if something's not fit for purpose, then you shouldn't have to pay it. And could you try and fix it? Yes. Now, the problem with that is, what's the definition of fit for purpose? And that's very a subjective thing. So let's take Dex, for example. So Dex was obviously very controversial because people were saying it was falling apart. Now, from my point of view, I've been using my Dex all Christmas, and the glue has come apart, absolutely, but it doesn't affect how Dex is used. Even though the glue has come off, it doesn't affect anything. I've used an elastic band, it's absolutely fine. It's a workaround. And on the tutorial, Lloyd and Javier went into the fact that, hey, this will probably happen, just take an elastic band, it's good. And it is. That's a perfectly valid solution. Now, some people aren't happy with that, and they're saying, hey, you shouldn't have a rubber band, that's ridiculous, you know, if they should have used different glue. And that's their opinion, and that's absolutely fine. I would never let anybody not have their opinion. But if decks didn't come glued at all, and instead it wasn't glued, but there was a black band around it, and the tutorial was like, okay, this black band is going to hold it together, nobody would have complained. People complained because there was glue there that came apart, and so they suggested using a rubber band. So it's kind of how, it's subjective. I took the workaround, didn't see a problem with it, and I'm very happy with decks and how it works. And that's not me being friends with Lloyd and Javier, that's just my opinion. Other people, they didn't like that at all. They were like, hey, I paid for this, it's falling apart, this is ridiculous. And that's their opinion, and that's fine as well. And the problem is, this sort of thing is subjective. When is something not fit for purpose? I've certainly been very frustrated with stuff that I don't think's fit for purpose, and didn't work. But then there's other stuff that I've kind of said, okay, well, yeah, this has happened, but I can see how you can still use it by doing this. So it's very much dependent. That's the first thing. The second thing is, you know, I'm a big advocate of you take a trick, and rather than doing it the same way as everyone else, you kind of adapt it. You change it to make it your own. Look at Visible, my project on the Invisible deck. That's full of routines that you can do with an invisible deck that don't require the use of the original way of doing the invisible deck. That isn't really me gaffing it, although I do talk about how gaffing the invisible deck can help. But by the by, that's an example of what you're suggesting here. So, yeah, you can absolutely do that, but I don't think that you should have to do that. I think if you've bought something and it just doesn't work, and it doesn't work because of a flaw in the product, and you can fix it in order to make that trick work, then you should not have to fix it. You should send it back, because all it's doing is it's enabling creators and making them think, well, okay, I can bring out crap. Now, again, it's subjective. People are going to listen to that and go, well, you know, what about Dex? And again, for me, Dex was fit for purpose because there was an issue, but they addressed the issue on the tutorial. So again, it's subjective. So yes, I totally get where you're coming from. And yes, I think that people should adapt tricks and make it their own and have a gaffing studio and perfect, yeah. I don't card split, but I have a Ryland. Ryland card splits for me. We're always doing stuff like that. But I think you should do that because you want to, not because you have to, because the trick is subpar. But it's a really interesting point. So thank you for asking it. And I hope that question, that answer made sense. Okay, so the next question is from Jay Plays, who says, hi Craig, thanks for everything you've contributed to the Magic community. You're more than welcome. I got Cube 52 and loved it, and I'd love to be able to get every product on this list. Thanks, man. I recently learned the mnemonica stack, and I have some questions for next week's Q&A. Do you use a marked deck in any of your gigs? And if so, which is your favourite and why? I've started using the Elysian duets. They're brilliant. I use them regardless of whether I've got the cards in stack or not, because they are just amazing to use, and they're the first cards. Nightshade and Night Flight. Steve Deller's Night Flight and the Elysian duets are brilliant marked decks. I'm landing in the Phil Smith camp with this though, because I find that the DMCs work a little bit better for me. Nothing wrong with Steve's cards. They're brilliant. He's got a huge following, rightfully so. Just for me, I fall in the Phil Smith band camp sort of thing. The next question was, do you intend to do a review show special on the Elysian Duets marked deck that comes in the mnemonica stack? Yes, I'm doing a review show special on that and on the Mosaic Fusion Phenomenon on the one show. I've never used a marked deck before, but I really like the back design of the cards, and I was wondering how many tricks there are in the instructions that are included with the decks, how many of these tricks use a mem deck, and how many of them just use the markings on the deck, but don't actually require the deck to be in the mnemonica stack. I'm not going to answer that now, because I've got a review show special coming up, so you can look out for that, but suffice to say, it's brilliant. Next question. Does the Netrix have a section dedicated to Memdectrix routines? And if so, how many Memdectrix are taught on the site? No, but by the end of January, we will have. We're going to have an entire Memdex section, and I'm going to be going through probably 10 different routines with Memdex. So I'm going to be overloading it with Memdex routines over the course of sort of January and February, because so many people have asked, and a lot of people know that I do a lot with Memdex. So I'm going to be covering absolutely everything on the Netrix. And the final question he's got is, Jay Plays has got, is would it be possible for you to do a 5x5 live performance commentary video covering all the different magic apps you use in your commercial gigs, with perhaps some live performance footage of each app? Yes, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. There's 5 apps that I use all of the time. 6 if you count Synergy, because I'm using Synergy a lot at the moment as well, and it's not really an app. But I will go through that. I'll do a 5x5 on that very, very soon. I think that's an amazing idea. Okay, so the next question is from Roger Grant 8865, who says, "Hi Craig, it'd be great if someone could do a top 10 for beginners or beginner plus with some book knowledge. I've not seen one yet. Maybe you could be the first in that category. You are a great magician. I enjoy your YouTube channel." Absolutely, I think that's a great idea. A top 10 for beginners would be awesome. Yes, I will do that 100%. Okay, so the next question is from Jonah Berg, who says, "What's your thoughts on David from Unbiased Magic giving a positive review of Chop?" I only found out over Christmas because I was very busy, didn't check much YouTube out. I was delighted, frankly. Very unexpected. I actually sent an email to David thanking him for the review. I didn't want to do it publicly because the last time I made a comment or a video publicly, it got taken out of context and it was just not good. So I just sent him an email. You know, if he wants to reply to it, that's great. If he doesn't want to, that's not a problem. But it was an email basically thanking him and talking about moving forward. But that's between me and David. But yeah, very, very great review and very unexpected. But I'm really glad that he likes it. And I was really surprised, but you know, it was one of the best Christmas gifts I had, to be honest. And the final question is from, where's he gone? I had him here a second ago. Where's it gone? Here we go. Lewis Pauly, who says, "Hi Craig, I'm 16 and I'm trying to get a lot more gigs in the new year, and I was wanting to know how you get to and from your gigs without driving." Well, first of all, close-up jobs. I love catching the train. I know it sounds sad. Oh, trains. I love catching the train. I love catching the train. I really do. And it allows me to just chill and get some work done and just sit there with my laptop. And it's a time where I can just kind of be on my own and just focus on other stuff outside of the office, where I get pulled in a million different directions. So if it's a close-up job, I'll just catch a train there. If it's an illusion show, we're going in a van and one of my team will drive the van. That's the advantage of having a team. One of my team will drive the van. I do get involved in a lot of 2-person close-up jobs where I'm working with somebody else in Slightly Unusual, and I'll normally jump in a car with them, whether it's Matt or Nemid or Paul or Alex or whoever. I'll jump in a car with them. If it's a cabaret show, normally I have a technical rider. That they're supplying a PA and a sound guy and so on and so forth. But if it's a smaller event and that's not possible, the speaker that I've got in that sort of environment is an S1 Bose, which is very, very small. And I can literally take one case, my cabaret case, and I can take my little speaker, have my mic inside my cabaret case, and I'm good for like a 1-hour show, which will project to 200 or 300 people. So again, I can go there by train very, very easily, not a problem at all. And when I get to my final destination, I just catch an Uber or a taxi to whatever venue I'm at. And that is factored into the price that I've quoted the client to cover that travel. So yeah, and occasionally, if I've got a close-up job on a Sunday, for example, and it's sort of 5 till 7, me and the family will make a day of it. So I'll jump in the car with Sarah and the kids. We'll go to wherever the gig is, get there nice and early, chill out, walk around the shops, grab some lunch. And then Sarah will take the kids for dinner while I'm doing the gig, and then she'll pick me up and we'll go back. Because Sarah is a control freak and loves driving. And even if I did drive, she wouldn't let me drive. So I get around it. You know, not being able to drive shouldn't be an issue. I've never had a problem not being a driver. So there you go, guys. That is another Q&A in the bag. Once again, Happy New Year, and thank you for supporting Magic TV through 2023. 2024 is going to be exciting times here at Magic TV. We've got an awful lot of stuff coming up. So if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, especially if you want to see more videos. And if you haven't done so, please join the Netrix. I'm so passionate about what we're doing with the Netrix moving forward, and I would love to see you guys a part of it. It grows and continues to grow every single day. So that is www.thenetrix.com. Go check it out and see what the fuss is about. But I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.